Scheffler can steal #1 back, Hovland lurking and a Molinari sighting on tour for the first time in months. Worldwide by name, worldwide by nature. With the PGA Tour in Mexico this week for the Worldwide Technology Championship at Mayakoba, it's the fourth different country the Tour has visited in the 7 fall tournaments this season after playing in the U.S., Japan and Bermuda. Will Gordon, a Korn Ferry Tour graduate, leads at 9 under par after a sensational 62, which was one shot off the course record at the par 71 El Camaleon golf course. Veterans Russell Henley, 63, Scott Piercy, 64, and Francesco Molinari, 64, also put their names in the mix, while Sweden's David Langmuth, defending champion Victor Hovland and Scotland's Martin Laird, 65, are among a group of players at 6 under. The international flavor is just one of the takeaways from round 1 at Mayakoba. Here are a handful of other observations. World #1 watch. The golf world welcomed Rory McIlroy returning to World No.1 for the first time in over 2 years when he won the CJ Cup in South Carolina last month. But McIlroy's 9th stint as top dog is under threat by the guy he usurped, Scottie Scheffler. The reigning Masters champ and PGA Tour Player of the Year could reclaim the top spot with a victory or solo second place this week. Scheffler fired a well-balanced 65 on Thursday with 3 birdies on both 9s and no bogeys. The Texan attributed his blemish-free round to solid approach play. "I hit a few shots today that were like really, really close to the hole," he said. The birdie on No.4 was really close, and No.5 was a tap and No.9 may have been the longest birdie putt I made today and it was like 7 feet. I hit it to about 2 feet on 11. I had a top-in birdie on the par 5, 13th, and on 16, I hit it like a foot for a birdie. Tap-in birdies will certainly not hurt Scheffler's quest to get back to #1. Defending champion in the mix. Scheffler played alongside Hovland, who has won each of the past 2 years at Mayakoba. While there are still 3 rounds remaining, Hovland gave himself a chance at a three-peat in Mexico with a 65. Side note, the last player to win a PGA Tour event 3 years in a row was Steve Stricker at the John Deere Classic from 2009 to 2011. Hovland jumped out of the gates Thursday with 4 birdies and an eagle for a front 9 of 30 before cooling down with an even par back 9. "I think the last 2 years I've started with a 4 and 5 under opening rounds, so I improved on that," Hovland said. "I made a couple putts and holed out from a bunker. I did a lot of good stuff today. But at the same time, I felt like I hit some really bad shots, too. So I feel like there's still opportunities to improve." Molinari, who played the fall solely on the DP World Tour before this week, got his PGA Tour season off to a flyer Thursday with 8 birdies and a bogey for a tidy 64. The 2018 Open Championship winner is hoping to qualify for the European team for the next year's Ryder Cup in his homeland, and not have to lean on captain Luke Donald for a pick when the Cup heads to Rome in September. A hero of the 2018 Ryder Cup in Paris, Molinari will have his work cut out. He is well outside the standings for Europe given his recent T9 at the DP World Tour's BMW PGA at Wentworth was his first worldwide top 10 since a T6 at the PGA Tour's American Express back in January. With Rome on his mind, Molinari is hoping to make a statement over the next 3 days at Mayakoba. "I think El Camaleon is a course that should suit my game quite well," Molinari said. "I think El Camaleon is a course that should suit my game quite well." Langmuth finding form. After earning his PGA Tour card back from the Korn Ferry Tour last season, the 35-year-old Langmuth has struggled with missed cuts in his first 3 events back on the main tour. But Langmuth, who won Jack Nicklaus Memorial Tournament in 2015 as his lone tour win, has started to turn things around with a T11 at last week's Bermuda Championship before a 65 on day 1 at Mayakoba. "I feel like I've been striking the ball fairly well and just not getting anything out of it, because I haven't been putting very well," Langmuth said after his round. "Last week in Bermuda I struck the ball really well and, for the last round I feel like I was starting to hit a lot of good putts and they were dropping. I was hoping to be able to carry some of that over into this week. So far so good." Lingmerth, who is based in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. Owns 2 of the more random facts on the PGA Tour's website when it comes to player bios. The first is his uncle, Joran Lingmerth, was a kicker for the Cleveland Browns in 1987. The second gem? Not many people know he can play the drums.